How's it going, everybody? This is a ParkZone Stinson Reliant SR. As you can see, this plane has got quite a bit of wear and tear to it. This plane is actually 11 years old. My wife bought it for me for our anniversary 11 years ago. I have put this plane back together numerous times. Some of the repairs you can see, some of them you cannot. But I've been keeping it in the air. This is actually the very first plane that I ever flew that had ailerons. So I learned ailerons on this plane, which was not easy because this is not the best learning plane, but still I've enjoyed it. I fly it roughly one time a year now. It's for the most part retired. I usually fly it the weekend of our anniversary, and this is that week, so I'm gonna give it a flight. Now this thing usually gets a little bit squirrely on the ground because of all the repairs over the years, and of course it's got these wheel pants on it, so it's not a huge fan of the grass, but we're gonna give it a shot. And it's up. Man, this thing is so sketchy anymore. The very first time I flew this plane, as soon as it got off the ground, it immediately rolled right and ended up breaking one of the wingtips almost completely off and cracking the other one pretty bad. I just did not give it enough rudder on takeoff, and with the ailerons really did not expect it. Another time that I had a crash with it, I was flying and did not do a transmitter check. And when I got in the air, I realized that somehow my servos were really reversed. So again, it went up and immediately went wild and went in the ground pretty hard, and I had to actually buy parts. Another time I was flying on a road near where I live at, and I landed and didn't give myself enough distance. It hit a curb. That did some damage. See if I can do a big roll. No, not this time. I would love to buy a brand new main wing for this plane because that's really what it needs, but unfortunately this plane has been out of production for years and years and years, and the parts aren't available anymore. Here's a nice roll. Oh. I'm flying it on a 2200. It originally called for an 1800. Flying on something a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can. Man. Oof. You can see these, just does not want to roll a lot anymore. It's just funny. I mean, this plane went together so hard. I mean, you don't have to build it. I mean, it's a bind and fly, like a lot of, when bind and flies first started coming out. But it was so much more difficult to put together just because all the tight spots and the small screws, and trying to keep the screws from falling down inside of the airplane, then having to fish them out. And still, I mean, just looks like really cool in the air. You can't tell how much damage there is to it, but no flaps on this one, so it has the ability you can put flaps on it, but when I bought this, it didn't come with flaps. And like I said, they probably haven't made this plane in 9 or 10 years. I seen main wings for it one time on eBay, and the guy had like 10 of them that he was selling and went and split them up. So I didn't need 10 main wings. So I opted to just leave it as is. I mean, it's amazing like how gentle it is now. Because I remember when I first got it, when my wife gave it to me, I was like, oh man, I'm a little bit intimidated by this thing. But over the years, you know, I've just gotten used to flying airplanes that are much more difficult to fly, but this one is one of those that I've just had for so long. I'm gonna bring it in for a landing here if I can get it set up. Whoa, and it noses over, which it does a lot. That's the wheel pants. Anyway, that's the 11-year-old ParkZone Stinson Reliant SR.